It's more than just coincidence. You look around and see the earth, the moon, the sun and the sky, a beautiful creation of Allah. So how could you deny?
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar. How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our show, The Philosophy of the Islamic Law. And we are glad to have with us Professor Muhammad Naim Saie, the Professor of the Islamic Law and its Science in the American Open University and the School of Sharia. Thank you for being with us. In the last episode we were talking about al-kaffarat, the expiations. And we were talking about that it does have a lot of benefits for ourselves. And you mentioned in the beginning, before we talked about the expiations, that by default in our acts of worshipping, by default some sins are being cleaned from ourselves when we make, for example, ablution or praying. Is this the only kind of benefits that we can get from these acts of worshipping, or there are more?
Yeah, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. اللهم يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا من لدنك علما واجعل هذا الكلام كله والحال كله خالصا لوجهك الكريم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows how much we are limited, how much we are subject to commit sin, to reflect His mercy upon His servants subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah knows the weakness of us. Allah include this automatic purification towards sin within His commandments subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you don't have to worry about it. As if that you are driving your car and it's being taken care of. You all change and everything. You are going to your school, dishes are being set up, everything is being taken care of. So you are going to the masjid, the mosque, you are praying, or reciting Quran Kareem, or maybe waiting for the prayer, or making dhikr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or going inside your home to make your ablution, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is cleaning your sin automatically. Till you finish your ablution, as if that you have finished all your sin, you have cleaned everything you have. The same thing going to the masjid, the mosque. So that will reflect His mercy upon you, His love of forgiving you, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that will make a special relationship between you and Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you will love when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forgiving you. You will love when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing His mercy upon you, right? So the relationship between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be strengthened by this kind of automatic purification. But other than that, subhanAllah, if you go deeper and deeper, as we know in this our modern time, the most maybe sophisticated disease and painful one and the most killing one to the people is not sometimes physical illness, something going to your nerve system.
Psychological.
This person under a very high pressure, under very severe stress, right? And that stress,
depression,
will lead him to depression. And he will be a different kind of person. He will not act normally. And he might go in the wrong way in his life, maybe killing himself, or maybe acting with others somehow to show the other side of himself, make damage to someone, to his maybe kids, his wife, his neighbor,
or taking drugs.
Subhanallah. And this is going on. And these physicians are in a very good business these days because of this kind of diseases. Islam wants Muslim all the time to feel, no, there's no way for you to be depressed. There's no way for you to give up. There's no for you as a Muslim, as a believer, to say there's no hope. Always, always, hope is included. Always confidence is included, because purification is included. When someone come back from the masjid, say, Alhamdulillah, Allah has purified all my sin. Alhamdulillah, he came back from the trip of Makkah al-Mukarramah, pilgrimage, Hajj. And as the Prophet said, عَادَ كَيَوْمِ وَلَدَتْهُ أُمُّهُ. He will come back as if the same, the day he was born. So this will give you that kind of confidence, that kind of trust in yourself, that kind of energizing you to continue your life with a full of power, energy, trust and hope. That will kill all the diseases. So you don't need to go to that physicians or that doctors. That will reflect in you, reflect in your family, reflect in your neighborhood, reflect in the whole nation and the whole world. If you have these people always energized, all they have hope, always they have a beautiful day in their life. There's no road, there's no gate for Satan, the shaitan, to tell you there's no hope for you. You have done it. It's end of it. No. As long as you are breathing, as long as you are in this life, always you have that kind of hope. But Allah made us subhanahu wa ta'ala automatically to be included with this act of worshipping.
You mentioned something very important. Love, the love of Allah towards His servants. Some non-Muslims, they accuse Islam that there is no love in their religion. They say love is in our religion, regardless what is their religion. We have love, but in Islam we don't see any type of love. But what you have mentioned right now is the ultimate love. In fact, when you see that on daily basis, not only on daily basis, on every second, every moment, that Allah is giving us chances to clean up our sins, and we have a direct relationship with Allah, a kind of direct loving relationship on second or every hour. That shows that Islam has love between Allah and Islam.
Yes, I think these people, they are totally ignorant about Islam. Totally. I'm sorry to say that, but they don't read Al-Quran Kareem, they don't read the Quran means the holy book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the verses, the word of God subhanahu wa ta'ala. They did not read it. They did not read the sayings of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It's a full, all these verses with the word of love.
Yes.
And the meaning of love. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ قُلْ إِن كُنتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ. One verse, other verse, third verse. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this very amazing verse in Al-Quran Kareem, and I always keep teaching myself through it and remind others about the beautiful meaning of this ayah. In the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba, the companion, they were subject to receive revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to receive commandment from Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they are at the stage of receiving and practicing, receiving, practicing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to enhance the Sahaba, to lift their rank, to promote their levels, always keep on them subhanahu wa ta'ala, reminding them, advising them, commanding them, sometimes to be tough with the Sahaba. Look at this ayah. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. This ayah to be directed to the Sahaba, not for us.
I see.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا من يرتد منكم عن دينه فسوف يأتي الله بقوم يحبهم ويحبونه أذلة على المؤمنين أعزة على الكافرين. All those believe or claim that they are believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is directing this verse to the Sahaba. If someone of you thought that he's not in need to be a Muslim, or maybe he thinks that going back to his old fake religion or false belief will affect on this deen, on this religion, or someone thinks that Allah does need one of you, Allah will replace you subhanahu wa ta'ala by someone, first of all, يحبهم ويحبونه. Allah loves them and they love Him subhanahu wa ta'ala.
He will replace them by someone that He, Allah, will love them, and then they will love Him. So He started first by the love of Allah toward the believers,
yes.
and then the love
yes.
from the believers toward
because
Allah.
the Muslims come, they said it does start from Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unless He loves you, you're not able to love Him subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Subhanallah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you the ability. Wallahi, my skin, la ilaha illallah. Because you talk about loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's like as a different word, you know. That's why the Prophet ﷺ sometimes used to be very upset and disappointed when someone is acting toward the status of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala impolitely, maybe unwillingly, unknowingly, but you get disappointed and upset. And you know that what Allah means? أتعرف ما الله? You know what Allah means subhanahu wa ta'ala? And Master Prophet alayhi salam, because this is the only thing in our life to compensate everything we might lose in this life. If we lost anything in this life, if we lost the whole life, but His love to be kept for us, we lose nothing. We gain everything. So, loving Him subhanahu wa ta'ala because He is loving you subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will get that sense when you are going deeper and deeper in the meaning of worshipping Him. It is not act of just showing your obedience to Him. You cannot live without it. You cannot live. If one day you are missing saying His name subhanahu wa ta'ala, or maybe reciting His word, or praying to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, the best place in this world, the best moment in this life to get the pleasure and the joy, the highest level of it, when you are on the ground, putting your forehead in the ground, because you are being closer to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. So when they talk about love, these people, they said there's no love in Islam. They don't know anything about this need.
Unfortunately.
Yes. We hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us the ability, the honor, to be able to love Him. Because not everyone is able to love Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Someone will be blocked. He is not eligible. He is not qualified to love the Creator, the Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, if you try to evacuate your heart from everything rather than Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and concentrate on your worshipping, and take that means into your action in your life, you are watching Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are seeing Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ranked the Prophet ﷺ and gave him the highest status of prophethood by saying, Alhamdulillah alladhi anzala ala abdi. Abdi. He was a servant of God, Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ. Because he was praying after midnight till his feet is swelling, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Even he knows that Allah has forgiven all his sin, but he wasn't in the status of being shy. How Allah has given me this status. I am, as a human being, I'm like any one of you. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does choose someone, يَخْتَصْ بِرَحْمَةِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. So the Prophet was in a full love with him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we hope that we are able to get some maybe sense of that meaning during maybe our talk, our show, because we'd like to everyone to share us in this meaning. It's not to demonstrate knowledge or demonstrate any kind of skills. All what we mean by this program, we'd like to transfer meanings for the whole ummah to share us in this beautiful message. We've been carried all this life from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We will go for a quick break. Please stay with us. We have more to say.
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.
Back to the Prophet. Join Sheikh Amar in the program Back to the Prophet, wherein he teaches us practical lessons from the Prophet's life and how this can help us to overcome our challenges in the present.
We talk about the life example of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, seeking guidance for ourselves. In the early days after the revelation of the Holy Quran, the Muslims were greatly persecuted, so much so that quite a few Muslims had to leave Arabia and migrate to Africa to live among Ahl Kitab, Christian people who followed the gospel of Christ.
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.
Welcome back. Before we went to the break, Professor Muhammad, you were talking about the love of Allah, and that people who don't know Islam and they accuse Islam that it doesn't have love. You showed and you told us how much Allah loves the believers. My question is, some people, some Muslims, they worship Allah. They do everything as far as the act of worshiping. They treat people in a nice way. But they don't have this type of feeling toward Allah. Like they don't feel kind of humbleness or fear or longing when they hear a verse from the Quran. Well, for example, in Taraweeh, in the night prayer in Ramadan, everybody around them might cry, but he doesn't cry. Or he doesn't feel that his heart is soft enough to feel this type of feeling, that it's so spiritual. How we can advise these people, or what kind of solution that they can do that will make them reach that level?
Before we go into to the answering of your question, we have to say a very important thing here. It is like a Islamic law base. It is not the condition of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to have an acceptance from Him Azza wa Jal, and to be excused by fulfilling this commandment, that it has to have this kind of spiritual or emotional reaction. So you have to focus first of all on doing it in the right way, outer, inner, combine between the form of worshipping and the spirit and the goal and the aim, wisdom of this worshipping. So if you are praying, an example, you have to focus on the form of your prayer, that you are doing your recitation very well, you are bowing very correctly, going to the prostration very correctly, saying what you have to say, you are thinking, you are bringing to yourself the meanings of what you are saying, what you are reciting, and then you finish your prayer. Suppose someone who was not able, after all this operation, all this effort, to feel the same way others they are feeling. He was not able to cry or to see like his eyes tearing. It is not a condition. It is not the most important things here. If he was trying his best to do his worshipping correctly, inner and outer, but We know, all of us, that we need from time to time that kind of soft heart to be reacted to what we are reciting or hearing or doing toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does soften our heart? Many things. First of all, the company you have. If you have a company of, I call it materialistic company, that means you sit with someone, all his talk is about selling this land, buying this land, getting that property, making that profit, all this shopping. If this is the whole issue you are talking about with these people, that will make your heart harder, will bring hardness to your heart. So you have to sit with some other people. They have a soft heart. الصالحين يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين المرء على دين خليله. So fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be with the company of the honest people, the sincere people. So choose your company and choose those that they have this kind of effect on you. They are moving you from your stage to the higher level. If they say something, they remind you. If they don't say anything, their condition will remind you. As a very famous statement, لا تصاحب إلا من ينهضك حاله أو يدلك على الله مقاله. That don't take a company of someone, but if he says something, his saying will remind you, will guide you. If he did not say anything, his condition, his way of life, his way of maybe sitting will remind you about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We did witness something like this a long time ago. We used to go and visit our grand scholars. Wallahi, many of them, they talk a little. And they are taking this from the Prophet ﷺ. This is his way of life. He doesn't talk too much like we talk. He talk very little ﷺ. But his condition to have that significant effect when everyone sees him sallallahu alayhi wasallam or have a company with him sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So the scholars are taking this from the Prophet ﷺ. They don't talk, very little. We went to one scholar one time and we said, my grand scholar, please advise us. He said, no, you advise me.
SubhanAllah.
We're a little kid, 12, 14 years old, 15 years old. He said, no, advice from you. And we spent maybe about 1 hour with him. He said to us just one sentence, one statement. Maybe I will say it some other occasion, inshallah, but that's what he said. So you have to choose your company to soften your heart. Second, remembrance of death. When we talk about funerals, Islamic fiqh issues or Islamic law issues regarding funerals, we'll talk about the wisdom of all this in details, but just in general. Remembrance of death in Islam is not to bring depression to you. It's not to bring some kind of bad feelings. Someone desperate who has to remember death. No, death in Islam is always positive. Everything in Islam is positive.
SubhanAllah, even in death.
Yes, in death, when you remember death, oh, my goodness, I'm going to die. That means I have to work harder and harder.
To be better.
To be better.
To be prepared
to
for
be
the death.
closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, more benefiting to others, because I have very short time. So remembrance of death will remind you that this life is very short. So don't waste your time in something that does hurt you or make some damage to you, or maybe make you wait more and more on the day of judgment. That will bring some softness to your heart. Remembers, as he said, alayhi salam, when he was the first stage of prohibited Sahaba to visit cemeteries. Then he said, كنت نهيتكم عن زيارة القبور ألا فزوروها فإن تذكروا بالآخرة. أكثر من ذكر هادم اللذات ومفرق الجماعات. Keep mentioning a lot the death, because he knows, alayhi salam. Remember, the death is something to energize you, to soften your heart. Does have an effect on your practical life, does have an effect on your spiritual life. So remembrance of the death is very important. Dhikrullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Keep saying astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't have to say it in front of someone. You could say it in your heart, you could pronounce it in your tongue, but keeping the dhikrullah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He mentioned these very special people, very genius people, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Who are these people? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned them and give them this kind of compliment. That all this greatness, science in this universe, does have a sign to these people, prove that this is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are genius people, very smart people, ulil albab. They have a great brain to think about the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who are these people? الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا.
Those who mention
يتفكرون في خلق الأرض قياما وقعودا. They are mentioning the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When they are sitting, they are getting up, they are laying down, they are leaving their homes, coming to their homes. In every aspect of life, the name of Allah is with them. And meaning of dhikrullah here is not just only saying Allah, 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 subhanallah, alhamdulillah. That means you are with the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
SubhanAllah. A kind of meditation. It's a kind of meditation that when we make dhikr, we should not just make our tongue run with just the name, but to think and meditate and reflect the meanings behind it, and meditate and reflect and think about this creation.
Yes. So this act of worshipping does have this kind of effect on you, soften your heart, because when you keep praying and keep going to the mosque, does have that effect on your heart, will be soft in your heart, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah, Allahumma ameen. May Allah make our hearts soft and purified. Allahumma ameen. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. Please join us next episode. We have more to say. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's more than just coincidence. You look around and see the earth, the moon, the sun and the sky, a beautiful creation of Allah. So how could you deny?
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar. How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.